So this is, without exaggeration, probably my 20th attempt at shooting this video. And I tried making a tutorial on how to set up an AV box, and I'm sure there's other tutorials. I'm not going to cover them. I am going to cover only one thing, which is using the LG Magic Remote as a universal remote once you've already set up the universal control aspect of it, right? So you press that button and it's still giving you that prompt, but you already set up the universal control thing. And you can see I did, because if I go over here, if I hold my input select button and I go to my home dashboard, as it's called, I guess, you'll see all of my HDMI ports say Sony. And why is that? Because I got a Sony AV box. That's my model right there, GX69ES. If you Google that, you'll see it was like made in 1992 or something like that. So this is a 30-year-old AV box that I'm using on a $1,500 TV. Why is that? I don't know. It works. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because believe it or not, I mean, it still is great for what I use it for, right? I mean, if I'm able to test the sound, which I'm not going to do in this video, it's amazing. So you've set it up. I showed you I have mine set up, but you can't figure out how to control it. So obviously, assuming you did the setup correctly, I'm going to assume that you also probably went ahead and you went to your sound settings. God damn it. I don't know. I always have this issue. For the last 20 videos, I've never had a problem with this control. And for whatever reason, now that I'm shooting videos, I don't know if it's because it's hard to just film and control the TV at the same time. Although, I mean, it shouldn't really be. But I'm assuming that you already set your sound out to the output of of the cable that you're connecting to your AV box, right? So in this case, it's an aux cable, which means it's going to be audio line out. If you're using an HDMI cable, Bluetooth, whatever, that's what you would want to set up here. And then also, you're going to need to select why? Oh my god. Okay, you're going to need to select right here, wired headphones, internal TV speaker. All of this is just to set up what device is going to output your audio, right? Now, it's outputting from the TV via aux cable to my AV box, which, as I mentioned, is 30 years old, and it's not going to have an HDMI input, because that's standard. It predates that standard. So if we go to AV sync adjustment, this is another crucial step if you're setting up an AV box bypass. You'd want that, because if you have that set up, then assuming that you set up the box correctly and is capable of doing so, what's going to happen is when you use your volume up or down, you can see my attenuator moves. Isn't that amazing? 30 years old, being controlled by this remote. So I have it set up, as you could properly see. So I have no problem using the volume up, volume down, which is the whole point of that AV box, right? To output an audio signal. Now I just have to select one of these inputs. I have all of them set up this way. And by the way, if you set up the AV box with the bypass or any of those settings, they are unique to each one of these HDMI ports. So you will have to set that up on every single HDMI port once you've set up the universal remote, right? You have to go through those settings and change them all every single time you do so. Now, finally, the meat of this video. Once you have all of that set up, now you can finally just press those little 3 dots right under the 9. You just have to give it a press. You don't have to hold it or anything. And it should get that prompt to pop up. And from here, you could power up, power off, power on your AV box. You probably just heard it. I'll aim the remote at the AV box and you can see it turned on. So it's useful if you don't want to get up to turn it on. Volume up, volume down. You already saw that I was able to control it from these 2 buttons, so I don't have to open this prompt up every single time I want to do that. And probably none of these other settings are going to work because I don't have my AV box set up in that way with this TV. So if you were looking for how to turn off your AV box, again, it's just that. Go to power,